Everybody's in place. We're ready for our spring heifer calf class. To begin our Ayrshire show, let's go ahead and bring them on in. In our Ayrshire Spring Heifer Calf class, second place is entry number 443, Brian Klein, with Klein's Banshees Bingo ET. And the winner in your Spring Heifer Calf class is entry 626, Sprang Ackley and Musey, with Piper. Ultimate, your comments.
Well, good afternoon. I think we have a really nice class to start our Ayrshire show off with today. Really exceptional pair here at the top of this class, and I think you could place them either way possibly. But for me today, I just prefer the overall smoothness of parts in our first place heifer that's so ultra dairy and sharp and angular about that front end. And I think that's the advantage she has over this big deep-ribbed heifer coming out in second place. I do admire the depth of the rib on the second place heifer. I just like to fill her in at the crops just a bit, change her right at the point of the shoulder, and just see her track just a little bit nicer on those rear legs. But a beautiful ribbed heifer, and a heifer that's very deserving of the second place spot. And then coming out in third is a heifer that's an April heifer, obviously not the size and scale and dairiness of the two heifers above her, but again, a very balanced calf. I think she places over the heifer in fourth, primarily on her just overall dairiness and angularity over this strong, powerful heifer that's in fourth place.
Four exhibitors in our Ayrshire Spring Heifer Calf class. Reading down your program, entry number 626 was your winner, Sprang Ackley and Musey, with Piper. Entry number 627 placed fourth, 625 was third, and entry 443 was second. We now have winner heifer calves in the ring. Winner heifers are in the ring. In our winter heifer calf class, second place is entry number 673 from Top View PC, Goodview Reynolds Grace. And the winner in our winter heifer calf class in our Ayrshire show is entry 633, Tanner, Brennan, and Marissa Top with Top Glen Gentleman Wish List. Judge your comments.
Well, a really nice class of winter calves, maybe not the easiest to line up because we have so many different sizes and shapes in this class, but I thought our first place heifer won the class quite handily for me. She just always gives you a good look. She has so much style and balance, and you love that femininity about her head and neck, that length of her neck, and the openness to her rib. And then I made a switch here. At first, I thought the third place heifer maybe followed the pattern of my first a little bit more closely, but when you really analyze them, this January heifer coming out in second just blends a bit nicer right behind her shoulders. Again, she's just a bit more correct and holds herself together just a little bit more nicely than the third place heifer. Then the fourth place heifer coming out, a heifer that I just love the length of to her rump. I just would like to see her a little bit more open in that rib, a little bit more spring to that rib to move her up in the class. But an exceptional group of heifers.
I think so. 7 heifers in our winter heifer calf class. Reading under your program, entry 637 placed second. Top View PC with Goodview Reynolds Grace. Entry 636 placed fifth. 635 was sixth. Our winner was entry 633, Tanner, Brennan, and Marissa Top with Top Glen Gentleman Wish List. Entry 631 placed third. 629 was seventh. And entry 630 placed fourth. We're now ready for our fall heifer calves. Fall heifer calves in the ring, please. In our fall heifer calf class in our Ayrshire show, second place is Brian Klein with Klein's Man-Child's Mai Tai. And the winner in your fall heifer calf class is Donna and Blake Grewe with Mill Valley and Klein Reagan Faithful. Judge, your comments.
Well, another nice class of fall calves we have out here. I think we have a pretty handy winner in my mind. She's obviously not the biggest calf in the class, but she is the youngest. But she just excels in her overall balance and correctness. She's so straight in her lines. She has the depth and the openness to her rib that I particularly like, and also the breed character and femininity about that front end that I admire. Then this heifer coming out in second, a well-grown heifer that obviously has the size and the scale and the overall length of body, but just not quite the overall femininity or the overall daringness as the heifer that wins the class. It is because of that length of body that places her over this heifer coming out in third. I just prefer how she blends in her parts. I prefer that she's just a bit more up off the ground than the heifer coming out in third that does give you that just extreme depth of rib and openness to her rib and spring of rib, but just would like to get her up off the ground a little bit more to move her up in the class. But a really, really nice group and a really exceptional winner.
Five entries in our Ayrshire Fall Heifer Calf class. Reading on your program, entry number 646 was your winner, Donna and Blake Grewe with Mill Valley and Klein Reagan Faithful. Entry 644 placed third. Entry 642 was fifth. Entry 640 placed fourth. And entry 639 was second, Brian Klein with Klein's Man-Child's Mai Tai. We're now ready for our summer yearling heifer class. Summer yearlings are in the ring. In our Ayrshire Summer Yearling Heifer class, second place is entry 648, Donna and Blake Grewe with Hall's V-Lane Reynolds Sons. And the winner in your Summer Yearling Heifer class is entry 651 from Ploucher and Sheets, Sky Pal Reynolds Caribbean ET. Judge your contents.
Well, again, not a huge class, but a real nice class of heifers. And again, I think here at the top of the class, it's pretty exceptional. This heifer that wins the class, I think, does so with her overall style and her balance, her overall correctness. She really just never gives you a bad look. When you view her from the side, she's hard on top. She has that tremendous width to her rib. And you stand behind her, you like the spring to her rib. I think she has an advantage today over another real stylish heifer coming out in second in that overall depth. I think she just a bit deeper in the heart. She's a bit deeper in that fore and rear rib than this stylish heifer coming out in second. It is the way that the heifer in second tracks on her rear legs that places her over this big, strong July heifer coming out in third. Just not quite the overall balance, just not quite the overall correctness in that foot angle, and the leg doesn't move quite as nice on her rear legs as two heifers above her. But she does place over the white heifer coming out just behind her, I think just because of that overall strength and power. And you stand, again, when you stand behind her, she's just got a bit more width throughout in that front end and back through her hip bones and pin bones. But an exceptional class and just a really nice winner in this class.
Five heifers in your Summer Yearling class. Reading down the program, our winner was entry 651 from Ploucher and Sheets, Sky Pal Reynolds Karubi ET. Entry 649 was fourth. Entry 648 placed second, Donna and Blake Grewe with Hall's V-Lane Reynolds Sons. Entry 647 was third, and entry 669 placed fifth. We're now ready for our Spring Yearling Heifer class. Spring Yearlings in the ring, please. In our Ayrshire Spring Yearling Heifer class, second place is entry number 657, Allison Bricker with Bricker Farms Chatty E.T. And your winner in the Spring Yearling Heifer class is entry 656, Tanner, Brennan, and Marissa Top with Top Glim Whimsical Thinking. Judge your comments.
Well, a really strong class of heifers we have out here in this class. The heifer that wins this class, I think, again, for me, does so quite easily. She's just a heifer that catches your eye when she comes in the ring and really just doesn't give you a bad look. She's a high-style, high-headed heifer that just excels, I think, today in her overall length of body, length throughout over this, again, real stylish heifer coming out in second. Heifer in second over the one in third. I just felt she followed the pattern a bit more closely of our first place heifer than the one in third. Again, she's just a little nicer in that than that rib development. She's just a bit more depth of that both and fore and rear rib over this, again, real fancy heifer coming out in third. Heifer in third over the one in fourth does so on how she tracks on her rear feet and legs. I like this heifer coming out in fourth from her hip bones forward, but from the hip bones back, I'd like to change the way she tracks on their rear legs, and I think part of that is just the position of her thurls that I'd like to move forward just a bit. But again, just a really, really nice group of heifers.
Seven entries in our Ayrshire Spring Yearling Heifer class. Reading down your program, entry 660 placed third. Entry 657 was second, Allison Bricker with Bricker Farms Chatty E.T. Entry 658 placed sixth. Entry 656 was your winner, Tanner, Brennan, and Marissa Top with Top Glim Whimsical Thinking. Entry 654 placed seventh. Entry 653 placed fifth, and entry 652 was fourth. We're now ready for our Winter Yearling Heifer class. Winter Yearlings in the ring, please. In our Ayrshire Winter Yearling Heifer class, second place is entry 663 from Simpson Plainfield Farms, Locust Spring PV Tease Me. And your winner is entry 665 from Wyatt Schlau, Bricker Farms, R Cadillac ET. Judge your comments.
Well, I think we have a really strong class out here, particularly at the top of this class. Two very similar made heifers at the top. The first heifer for me just excels in her overall dairiness and crispness throughout. She's just a bit more feminine and cleaner about that head and neck. And that dairiness, overall dairiness, I think just carries through the entire heifer. She's also just a bit stronger in that top line today than this, again, really stylish heifer coming out in second. It is the style and balance of the second place heifer that places her over the one in third. Again, I just think she follows the pattern of my first place heifer just a bit more closely. I prefer how she tracks out on her feet and legs just a bit more correctly than this heifer coming out in third. The heifer in third over the one in fourth, she just has more mass to that midsection, I think. Again, when you stand behind her, she just has more spring to that forward rib than this balanced heifer that's coming out just behind her.
5 entries in your Winter Yearling Heifer class. Reading on your program, entry 667 placed 5th. 665 was your winner, Wyatt Schlau with Bricker Farms, Reynolds Cadillac ET. Entry 664 placed 4th. Entry 663 was 2nd. And entry 661 placed 3rd. We're now ready for our fall yearling heifers. Would remind exhibitors after this fall yearling class, we will be having selection of junior champion, and you know what that means. Let's be ready. In our fall yearling heifer class, our winners entry 675, Tanner, Brennan, and Marissa Top with Top Glen B, Make-A-Wish ET. Judge, your comments.
Well, we have just 2 heifers in this class, but I think it lines itself up pretty logically. You just have so much power and width and strength in this first heifer to do anything but start the class with her. And then, not that there's anything wrong with the second place heifer, just not quite the overall strength, power, and maturity as the heifer that wins the class.
Two heifers in our fall yearling heifer class. Our winner entry 675, Tanner, Brennan, and Marissa Top with Top Glen B, Make-A-Wish ET. Congratulations. Entry 673 was second, Carson Bickle with Emerald Farms Champ Cat, and entry 671 was scratched. We're now ready to have our selection of junior champions, so let's bring all of our calves and heifers in for our selection of junior champion and reserve junior champion. That will be followed by the national futurity class. But first up, junior champion. At this time, let's recognize our exhibitors that are competing for junior champion from our spring heifer calf class. We have Spring Ackley and Musey with Lookout Auto Piper. Second place was Brian Klein with Klein's Banshees Bingo ET. From our winter heifer calf class, we have Tanner, Brennan, and Marissa Top with Top Glen Gentleman Wish List. And Top View PC with Goodview Reynolds Gracie. From our fall heifer calf class, we have Don and Blake Grewe with Mill Valley and Klein Reagan Faithful. Second place was Brian Klein with Klein's Manchild's Mai Tai. In the summer yearling heifer class, we have Plowker and Sheets with Sky Pal Reynolds Karubi ET. And Donna and Blake Grewe with Hall's V-Lane Reynolds Sons. From the spring yearling heifer class, we have Tanner, Brennan, and Marissa Top with Top Glen Whimsical Thinking. Second place was Allison Bricker with Bricker Farms Chatty ET. And from our winter yearling class, we have Wyatt Slough with Bricker Farms Reynolds Cadillac ET. And Simpson Plainfield Farms with Locust Spring PV Tease Me. And in the fall yearling class, our winner was Tanner, Brennan, and Marissa Top with Top Glen B Make-A-Wish ET. Second was Carson Bickle with Emerald Farms Champ Cat. Congratulations.
Well, it may not have been a big show this afternoon, but we certainly have had a lot of quality, particularly at the top of this class. And I couldn't be happier with the group that's back out here for junior champion. Not to take anything away from the heifers that pulled off to the side there. I think we got some heifers over there that probably as time goes on could be right out here in the center to pick junior champion from. Just a real quality group, and if you would, please give these exhibitors a round of applause for their exceptional quality they've shown us today. And like I said, on any given day, you could maybe make some changes here and there, but for me today, these three heifers were my three favorites that I think are on the money today and can go on and compete in other places if the show was today. So that's our first place summer yearling, our spring yearling, and our winter yearling. Very, very similar heifers. I think they all three are high-style heifers. They have the femininity about the head and neck that I like, just the breed character, the openness to the rib, their overall length of body and correctness, and style and balance, which is what made them win their class today, and also why they're out here in contention for our junior champion. So I'm going to go out and select my junior champion, my reserve, and my honorable mention, and then I'll come back and give you my reasons. Well, for me today, this summer yearling that came out just has the overall balance that I particularly like. She's just a bit more correct in that rump structure today than our spring yearling. She's just a little bit neater about that tail setting. You just love the width to her rib, that drop to her fore rib and rear rib, and just her overall balance. And for me today, she's my junior champion. And then I'll follow with our spring yearling, the heifer that, again, is a high-style heifer. You love the length to her neck. You love the high-headedness of this heifer. You like the overall length, like I say. And, again, a open-ribbed heifer, but maybe not quite the overall drop for her age as the summer yearling. And I would just like to change her just a tad in that tail setting to move her into our junior champion spot. And then our winter yearling will be our honorable mention. Again, maybe not quite the overall openness as the two heifers that are junior and reserve, but again, a very heifer that just follows the pattern with her overall balance and her style and her correctness. So congratulations.
Congratulations to our junior champion from Plowshare and Sheets, Skypal Reynolds Karubi E.T. Congratulations. Your reserve junior champion from Tanner, Brennan, and Marissa Top Glen Whimsical Thinking, and honorable mentions honors to Wyatt Schlau with Bricker Farms, Reynolds Cadillac ET. Congratulations. Probably snap a few photos, and then we'll be ready for our National Futurity class. Hi, Ella. as our final cow comes around for our futurity class, I'll introduce them from my left to right as they are standing side by side. Our first entry is from Donna and Blake Grewe, Mill Valley Faith's Legacy. Our second entry is from Logan Top Glen Burdette Wish On. From Emerald Farms, we have Four Hills Reynolds Vanity. And from Shelley Eads, we have Day Ray Reagan Season. That was Thursday. Winner of our National Futurity class is Logan Top with Top Glen Burdett. Wish on. Judge, your comments.
Well, we just have 4 entries on our fraternity today. I believe they're all junior 2-year-olds, and we have different stages of lactation here from June into just a week fresh. But I think this heifer that wins the class does so fairly handily for me. She just kind of puts it all together in her quality, her straightness of lines, way she tracks out on her feet and legs, and then when you get to her memory system, she just got so much more udder quality and balance to it and the depth of ligament to do anything but win the class with her. And then this second place heifer, not a big heifer. I'd like to give her a little more power and strength about that front end for sure. But again, a 2-year-old that's been milking, I think, since March, and again, just shows a bit more quality to that udder today. Just blends a little more nicely in that forudder attachment, and again, just deeper in that ligament than this cow coming out in third. And then the cow in fourth, the cow that's just been a week fresh, and I told the lady leading her she just still has the frame of a heifer and obviously doesn't have that quality to her udder yet, but I have no doubt that she would move up in the class as time goes on, and she has some time to pull herself together, but a real nice class of maturity.
Final placings in your National Futurity class. Entry number 690 from Gruey's was third. Entry from Tops, Logan Top was your winner. Top Glen Burdett Wish On. Emerald Farms was fourth, and Shelley Eads was second with Dayray Reagan Season. Congratulations. Exhibitors, classes are going to move pretty quick now, so please be ready. We're now ready for our summer junior 2-year-old. We have 1 entry in this class, so junior 2s should be ready shortly. Thank you.
Well, just a single entry in our summer junior 2-year-old class. Again, a heifer that hasn't been milking too long, but you certainly admire the overall length of body that she has. And again, to be as fresh as she is, she's certainly showing the quality. You admire the veination that she shows on that forudder. So we'll evaluate her a bit more when she comes back in just a bit later.
Summer junior 2-year-old was won by Brian Klein with Klein's Reagan Raleigh. We're now ready for our junior 2-year-old class. Junior 2s, let's bring them on in. In our Ayrshire Junior 2-year-old cow class, our winners entry 681, Tanner Brennan and Marissa Top, with Top Glen Reynolds Whitty. Second place is entry 685, Logan Top, with Top Glen Burdette Wish On. Judge, your comments.
Well, again, a nice class of junior 2-year-olds, and the cow that wins this class, I think, does so for me fairly logically. She's not a big cow, maybe not a long, super long cow, but she is very correct, and she does have the best udder in the class. You just admire the height and the width to that rear udder today over this the cow that won the fraternity coming out in second place. Just not quite the height and the width at the top of that rear udder as the cow that wins the class. But she does place over the cow coming in third because of that balance of udder. She's just a bit more balanced in those rear quarters, just a bit nicer in the way that fore udder blends into the body wall. And then the third over the fourth, again, just has had more time to come to herself as a mature cow than this cow in fourth that's just a week fresh. Congratulations.
4 entries in your junior 2-year-old cow class. Entry 687 was scratched. Entry 685 was second. 683 placed fourth. Entry 681 was your winner, Tanner Brennan and Marissa Top, with Top Glen Reynolds Whitty, ET. And entry 678 placed third. We're now ready for our senior 2-year-old class. Senior 2s in the ring, please. In our senior 2-year-old class, our winners entry 689, Shelley Eads with Day Reagan Season. Judge, your comments.
Well, again, we got 3 different types of cows out here, but the cow I started with, I think, just excels in her overall quality of udder today. Again, she's not the biggest cow or the strongest cow in the class, but for me, she just has the best udder. You just like the strength of the attachments, the way she carries her udder up above her hocks, and just a youthful appearance about this young cow that, again, I'd like to see her wider in that front end and a little bit more strength in that front end, and I think the second place heifer has that advantage in that regard, but just not quite the udder quality as the cow that wins the class. And then the problem cow for me, the cow coming out in third, a cow that certainly looks like she has maybe the second best udder in the class, but just not the bloom to that udder today to move her up in the class. And again, just like to see a bit more strength and power about that front end.
3 entries in our senior 2-year-old class. Entry number 693 placed third. Entry 689 was your winner, Shelley Eads with Day Reagan Season. And entry 690 was second, Donna and Blake Grewy with Mill Valley Faith's Legacy. Congratulations. We have 1 entry in our junior 3-year-old class, so senior 3-year-olds, please be ready. After our senior 3-year-old class, we will have our selection of intermediate champion.
Well, if I didn't get any other classes right today, I know I got this one. And what a beautiful cow that really could stand a lot of competition in this class. I think you really have to admire, again, the balance that she has, and then just a beautiful, beautiful udder that's attached extremely well in both fore and rear. Just a nice young cow that we'll evaluate again a bit more when she comes back out for champion, but very deserving of a blue ribbon.
Congratulations to our junior 3-year-old class winner, Brian Klein, with Margot Carmel. We're now ready for our senior 3-year-old cow class. I want to step back and make the announcement of our best bred known 2-year-old, Ohio bred known. She will be the winner of our junior 2-year-old class. So we need someone from either Tana Brennan or Marissa Top to come over to the table so you can pick up your banner and plaque for best bred and owned, Ohio bred and owned 2-year-old in our show today. Congratulations. That entry was number 681. She's the winner of that class. She is Top Glen Reynolds Witty E.T. Congratulations. Our senior 3-year-old cow class, our winner is entry 696 from Spring, Ackley, and Musey, Don Haven Melios Twilight. Judge, your comments.
Well, just 2 entries in this class, and again, 2 really nice cows, but I think we have a handy winner in our first place just with her overall style and balance, a beautiful ribbed cow, a cow that's straight in her lines, extreme daringness. And then when you get to her udder, you just have to admire the bloom that she has. You have to admire the veination that she shows. And again, just beautifully, you love the way the teats are placed on the floor of the udder, the size and the shape of them. So just a real outstanding cow to win this class. And then the cow coming in second, again, a big, tall, framey cow that just not quite the overall bloom to her udder today or the overall balance throughout to win the class.
Senior 2-year-old class, final placings were 696 was our winner from Spring, Ackley, and Musey, Don Haven Melios Twilight. And entry 695 was second, Thomas Wolf with Spring Run Champ Charmer. We have our 2- and 3-year-old cows coming in line here, and I finally figured out why there's only 8 out there, so I'm going to go ahead and announce them now, if that's okay. Summer junior 2-year-old from Brian Klein, Klein's Reagan and Raleigh. From our junior 2-year-old class, we have Tanner, Brennan, and Marissa Top with Top Glenn Reynolds Witty E.T., followed by Logan Top with Top Glenn Burdette Wish On. Our senior 2-year-old class, we have Shelley Eads with Day Ray Reagan Season, and Donna and Blake Grewe with Mill Valley Faith's Legacy. Junior 3-year-olds from Brian Klein, Margot Carmill. Senior 3-year-old from Spring, Ackley, and Musey, Don Haven Melios Twilight, and Thomas Wolf with Spring Run Champ Charmer. Congratulations.
Well, once again, we certainly haven't had a lot of young cows out here to look at this afternoon, but we've certainly had some really, really nice ones, and I'm really pleased with the group that came back out here for intermediate champion. And I'm extremely pleased with these three individuals that I pulled into the center in contention for intermediate champion. We have our junior 2-year-old, again, not a big cow. They don't have to be big for me if they're good enough. And she has a beautiful udder. A cow with an udder that is attached extremely well, has that deep cleft that you like. You like the size and the shape of her teats. And again, a well-balanced cow. And then the cow, next one is a senior 3-year-old that's just recently fresh and maybe needs just a little bit more time to get her guts back and so forth. But what a beautiful udder on this cow. A cow, again, that I think probably her best days are ahead of her. But again, I like the balance of her and the mammary system is just spot on. So I'm really, really pleased and love this cow a lot. And then we have our senior 3-year-old cow that's been milking since December. Obviously has that sweep to her rib, the depth of her rib, and again, an udder that you just have to admire the quality, the venation that it shows, and just a beautiful, balanced cow, and three exceptional cows, and I don't think you could go wrong with any of these three. But if you'll pull that senior 3-year-old out, she's going to be our intermediate champion today. I just don't think you can deny that overall depth that she has, the openness that she has, and again, the quality to her udder. And then for reserve, if you'll pull out this junior 3-year-old, she'll be our reserve. Like I say, I just think this cow could be pretty special if she can go on and develop that rib. Maybe she won't, but I just really admire the udder on this cow. She's got just a bit more overall length of body than our honorable mention, which is our junior 2-year-old, just a little bit more overall length, and maybe just matches our intermediate champion just a bit more closely than this junior 2-year-old. But again, three exceptional uddered individuals and very worthy of these awards. So congratulations. Let's give them a round of applause.
Congratulations to our intermediate champion, our senior 3-year-old from Spring, Ackley, and Musey, Don Haven Melios Twilight. Congratulations. Our reserve intermediate champion from Brian Klein is Margot Carmille. And honorable mention honors go to the best bred and owned of Ohio from Tanner, Brennan, and Marissa Top Glenn Reynolds, Whitty E.T. Congratulations. We'll take a few photos and then let those cows walk outside for just a bit while we finish up with our senior classes. Won't take very long. Then we'll be in here to finish our show for today. In our 4-year-old class, our winner is from Spring Ackley and Musey, True Blessings Blackjack Phoebe. Judge, your comments.
Well, again, just 2 entries in this class, but I think we have a logical winner, just a cow with just extreme dairy quality, dairy strength that I particularly like. And then once again, when you get to that mammary system, she just has so much more quality, more bloom, more height and width to that rear udder today than this well-balanced dairy heifer coming out in second place.
In our 4-year-old class, our winners entry 699, Spring Ackley and Musey with True Blessings Blackjack Phoebe. Second place is entry 698, Emerald Farms with Beam Farms Joy's Joanna. Congratulations.
Just one entry in our production cow class, cow that's 12 years old, been milking like 15 months, and all you can do is just say, wow, just look at the strength, the capacity that she has, the way she carries that udder at 12 years old. Just a beautiful cow that could take a lot of competition.
Congratulations to Tanner, Brennan, Marissa Top for their production class award winner, Top Glen Wishful Thinking ET. Congratulations.
Just have one dry cow in this class, and again, a cow that you admire the straightness of her lines, her overall balance that she possesses, and again, we'll talk about her a bit more when they come back for champion. Congratulations.
Congratulations, Thomas Wolf, the entry in our dry cow class, Spring Run Champ Cameo. Congratulations. In the ring, competing for senior champion from our 4-year-old class, Spring Ackley and Muses, True Blessings Blackjack Phoebe. Our second cow is from Emerald Farms, Beam Farms Joy's Joanna. Our production class award winner from Tanner Brennan and Marissa Top Glen Wishful Thinking. And our dry cow from Thomas Wolf, Spring Run Champ Cameo. Congratulations.
Well, we haven't had a lot of mature cows out here this afternoon, but certainly the quality has been strong in our winners. And again, I appreciate the time and the effort they've taken to get some of these cows out here. It's been hot all week, I'm sure. It takes a lot of work at home. It takes a lot of work from people and lots of people. And these cows go through. They're taken well care of, but they feel the heat just like we do. Maybe not quite as much as we do, but it's certainly been a nice show. And in selecting our senior champion, we don't have a lot out here, but I think we have 2 cows that obviously comes to the top that I think could compete just about anywhere. But for me today, if you'll pull out that old cow, I'm going to make her my senior champion. I don't know how you could expect a cow 12 years old, 8 calves, milking 15 months, that has that kind of dairy strength, that still carries her udder the way that she does, that cow that moves so easily on her rear legs. I just don't know how you could expect any more from a cow than this. I just think she's very, very deserving. For me today, over our 4-year-old cow, I think she's just a bit nicer right at the top of the rear udder. Just blends just a little bit more smoothly right at the top of their rear udder. Maybe blends just a bit more smoothly in that fore-udder attachment, particularly on that one side, than our 4-year-old. Not to take anything away from her. She'll be our reserve, a cow that certainly has a lot of balance to her. You like the style as she moves out. You like the high-headedness that she has, that length of neck, and the dairy quality that she has. But for me, maybe I'm a sucker for an old cow, but I just can't deny this cow today for our senior champion. Congratulations.
Congratulations to our senior champion, Tanner Brennan and Marissa Top with Top Glen Wishful Thinking ET. Congratulations. Your reserve senior champion from Ackley, Spring, and Musey, True Blessings Blackjack Phoebe. Congratulations. To our 2 senior champions, we will add our intermediate champion from Spring, Ackley, and Musey, Don Haven Melios Twilight, and our reserve intermediate champion from Brian Klein, Margot Camille, as we work towards our grand champion and reserve grand champion of our show today.
Well, let me take a second just to thank the Ohio State Fair and the Ayrshire breeders for having me judge your show. I really appreciate it. I may be a Jersey girl at heart, but there isn't a breed of good cows that I don't like. I mean, good cow is a good cow no matter what color. And like I said, maybe we haven't had a lot of cows out here today, but we certainly had some really nice ones and some good ones that I think we're going to see later this fall, if God willing and nothing happens. So, again, thank you for this opportunity. I really appreciate it. I wish you all the best down the road, and trust me, I'll be pulling for you and watching to see how you do later this fall, because I know for sure we're going to see some of you. So, anyway, in selecting my grand champion, it gets a little tough. I think we got two cows here. That's our intermediate and our senior champion that obviously can take a lot of competition on any given day. There's things I love and admire about both of them. But in making my decision today for our grand champion, I'm going to stick with this senior champion, this old cow. Maybe I'm just a sucker for an old cow, but again, I just don't know how you could expect her to look any better and for being 12 years old, 8 calves, and milking 15 months. And that beside itself, I think when you put these two cows together, if you look just, for me, the difference is just at the top of the rear udder. Maybe it's because she's been milking 15 months, and this one with a little bit more time, that's going to fill in. But I just appreciate the way this cow blends at the top of her rear udder. Maybe not quite as bloomy as the intermediate champion, but she's been milking 15 months. I just admire how she carries that udder and the strength of attachments at this point. And for me today, that is the biggest difference. But our intermediate champion will be reserved, like I said, just a beautiful dairy cow that I think, again, is only going to get better as time goes on. Maybe when things cool off, and I understand, you can tell by looking at her that she's milking extremely hard, and I think just a little bit more time, and she's going to give this cow all she wants. But for me today, these are the two best cows, and this is how I see them. So congratulations, and I wish you the best down the road. Thank you again.
Let's have a big round of applause for our grand champion female today. From Tanner, Brennan, and Marissa Top Glen, Wishful Thinking ET, congratulations. Reserve Grand Champions, our intermediate champion, senior 3-year-old. From Sprang, Ackley, and Musey, Don Haven, Milios, Twilight, congratulations. If we could have a representative from Top Glen Farms, please come to the table. You will be the premier breeder and the premier exhibitor today for our Ayrshire show here at the 2025 Ohio State Fair. Thank you very much. there is a breeder's herd class here, so we're not totally done while we're taking a few pictures here. If anybody has a breeder's herd entry, go ahead and bring them on in. Just one announcement while we're waiting on our breeder's herd class here to wrap up our Ayrshire show. There's one more show tonight at 7:30 in the Coliseum. We'll have our Holstein Futurity class. So if you're still around looking for something to do, 7:30 tonight, Holstein Futurity in the Coliseum. Hope to see you there. Tomorrow, we start up again with our open Holstein cow classes at 9 a.m. And then we have our red and white cows at 11 a.m. And that will be our two shows for tomorrow. That'll wrap up session one, I believe. Angie, is that right? That's right.
Well, in our group class, I think we have an obvious winner. I think we've got this group right here in the middle that's got our champion cow, and also All of them are class winners, so I think that's pretty hard to beat today. So congratulations, but they'll be our first place. And then it gets a little closer between our second, but I think this group here to my left will be second, just a little bit more overall maturity than our group that's third to my right. So again, congratulations, and thank you all so much for having me. I've enjoyed it.
Congratulations to Top Glen for winning our Breeders' Herd class. Second place is Thomas Wolf, followed by Emerald Farms. Congratulations to everybody, all the exhibitors here today. Long day. Make sure you go back, take care of your animals, take care of yourself, catch a nap. See you at Holstein Futurity tonight, 7:30 over in the Coliseum.